Breaking news! Something is happening within the Denver Broncos organization that could completely change everything we thought we knew about this offense. And I'm not just talking about small improvements, I'm talking about a potential transformation that could finally propel this team into a serious playoff race. The buzz around the league is growing, and after analyzing the numbers and listening to what the insiders are saying, Broncos country, I can tell you one thing. 2025 could be the year this offense becomes dangerous again. But hold on, because what I'm about to share with you might surprise you. And it all starts with some new faces that could quietly become the key to Sean Payton's entire game plan. But before we begin, if you're a true Broncos fan and believe this team can surprise the NFL this year, hit like right now. And if you've been bleeding orange and blue for decades, leave this in the comments. Go Broncos! We're coming to the Super Bowl. Now, get ready, because what I learned about the Broncos' offensive changes will make you rethink everything you saw last season. The Broncos' rushing attack last year was flat out brutal, and no one suffered more criticism than Javonte Williams. I know he was a fan favorite when he first came to Denver, but let's call it what it was. His 2024 season was disastrous. Advanced analytics from Sharp Analytics ranked him dead last in yards after contact per rush, 46th out of 46 running backs. He was 44th in longest runs, 42nd in yards per carry, and was constantly stuffed at the line. His rushing success rate sat at a miserable 35%, which is less than half of what Saquon Barkley posted. That's why Sean Payton made the tough call to move on from him, and honestly, the numbers back that decision 100%. Subtracting Williams might have been addition by subtraction. Enter the new faces who could transform this offense, J.K. Dobbins and rookie sensation R.J. Harvey. While Dobbins is the proven RB1 when healthy, Harvey might be the real game changer. He's the modern halfback built for today's NFL. Analysts are raving about him, and for good reason. He led all of Division I college football in yards per carry on outside runs, averaging an insane 8.2 yards when bouncing off tackles to the outside. Think about what that means for Denver's run game. Last season, they struggled badly when running to the left or up the middle, with way too much red on the analytics charts. The only consistent success was through the B gap on the right side. With Harvey's outside speed, that predictable, one-dimensional rushing attack could be gone for good. This is where things get exciting. If Denver can finally run the ball effectively, it changes everything in the red zone. Last year, their EPA per rush in the red zone ranked 19th, which forced Bo Nix to rely too heavily on passing. Defenses knew Denver couldn't pound it in on the ground, so they blitzed heavy and sat back in pass coverage. But with Dobbins and Harvey, the offense finally has unpredictability, run or pass, play action becomes lethal, and defenses can't cheat anymore. If Harvey even comes close to replicating his college production, he might be the biggest offensive upgrade Denver has had in years. But rushing isn't the only offensive issue Sean Payton had to address. The tight end room was, quite frankly, one of the worst in the entire NFL last season. The tight end target share was just 14%, forcing Bo Nix to check down to running backs 22% of the time. That's unacceptable in today's NFL, especially when you look at elite offenses. The Chiefs thrive because Travis Kelce is Patrick Mahomes' safety blanket. Lamar Jackson has Mark Andrews for those critical short to mid-yardage plays. Denver had no one. That changes now with Evan Engram. Even though he played just 9 games last season, he still hauled in 47 receptions, more than the entire Broncos tight end group combined. Engram gives Bo Nix a reliable short yardage option, which is crucial for early down efficiency, an area where Denver ranked 29th last season. If Payton uses Engram correctly, Denver can finally play smart, methodical football. Not every play has to be a deep shot to Courtland Sutton or Marvin Mims. Short stick routes to Engram, pounding it with Dobbins on 2nd and 2, and then hitting a deep ball when defenses bite. That's how you win in 2025. The Broncos don't need fireworks on every drive. They need consistency, and Engram might be the key to unlocking that. And here's where things really get interesting, Broncos country. When you break down how this offense struggled last year, you see just how much room there is for improvement, and why these changes could be the difference between another mediocre season and a legitimate playoff run. Sean Payton has built his reputation on maximizing offensive talent, but last year he simply didn't have the tools he needed. Bo Nix was thrown into situations where defenses knew exactly what was coming. On early downs, Denver was predictable, and that led to those ugly 3rd and long situations where even Courtland Sutton couldn't bail them out. But with Engram opening up the middle of the field, Payton can finally scheme his offense the way he wants to. Think about this. Last season, when Sutton faced elite corners like Derek Stingley or Sauce Gardner, the offense stalled because Bo Nix had no secondary option. Now, with Engram running crisp 8-yard stick routes, defenses have to respect the short passing game. That means linebackers can't just drop back deep. They have to bite on play action, and that opens things up for Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin to stretch the field. It's a domino effect. One addition, Ingram, could unlock every level of this passing attack. Then there's RJ Harvey. If you're not excited about this kid yet, you should be. The Broncos haven't had a back with this kind of outside explosiveness in years. Javonte Williams was a power runner who couldn't create chunk plays, and even Jaleel McLaughlin, who had flashes, couldn't consistently move the chains. Harvey changes that. Imagine him bouncing a run outside for 8 yards, then coming right back with a Dobbins inside run for 5 more. Suddenly, Denver is in 2nd and 2 or 3rd and 1 consistently, instead of 3rd and 8. That completely changes how Sean Payton can call plays. Another underrated aspect? This improved run game will help the defense, too. Last year, because the offense couldn't sustain drives, the defense spent way too much time on the field and wore down late in games. If Denver can extend drives, keep possession, and control the clock, the defense stays fresh. And we all know how dangerous this defense can be when it's rested. And let's talk about Bo Nix for a second. Last year, the rookie faced an uphill battle, forced to throw too often on obvious passing downs. With these new weapons, Payton can ease his workload. Play action becomes deadly when you have a real run game. Quick throws to Ingram will keep the offense ahead of the sticks. Less pressure means fewer mistakes, and a more confident Nix could be the ultimate wild card in this offense's success. The big question now is chemistry. Will these new pieces gel quickly enough to make a difference right out of the gate? Dobbins has to stay healthy, Harvey has to prove his college success translates to the NFL, and Ingram has to stay on the field. If those three things happen, there's no reason to believe this offense can't be top 10 by midseason. And here's something I've been thinking about. Who steps up as the true offensive leader this season? Courtland Sutton is still the heart of this receiving core, but could Ingram become Bo Nix's go-to guy when the game is on the line? Or will Harvey, if he explodes the way analysts expect, steal the spotlight as the Broncos' new offensive star? Absolutely. Let's keep going because there's still a lot to unpack about what this offense could become. One thing we haven't fully explored yet is just how much Sean Payton can manipulate defensive looks with these new weapons. Last season, defenses didn't respect Denver's run game at all. They stacked against the pass, blitzed heavily on 3rd downs, and dared the Broncos to run the ball. And guess what? It worked, because Denver couldn't answer. But now, with J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey, that defensive approach simply won't work the same way. Dobbins, when healthy, has already proven he can be a legitimate RB1 in the NFL. He's powerful between the tackles and forces defenses to commit extra bodies in the box. Pair that with Harvey, who can bounce to the outside and punish over aggressive defenders, and you've suddenly got two backs that complement each other perfectly. That's something Denver hasn't had in years, a true 1-2 punch. Payton thrives when he has that kind of versatility. Remember his best offenses in New Orleans? He always had a power back to grind out tough yards and a speed back to stretch defenses horizontally. Now he has the same formula in Denver. And we haven't even mentioned how this affects play action. Last year, Denver's play action was ineffective because defenses didn't respect the threat of the run. But imagine Harvey ripping off an early 15-yard outside run. Suddenly linebackers are crashing down on every fake, leaving Ingram wide open across the middle or Sutton one-on-one on the outside. It's the kind of chain reaction that could transform Bo Nix from a struggling rookie into a much more efficient quarterback. Even just bumping Denver's early down efficiency from 29th to somewhere around league average would keep drives alive, sustain momentum, and put points on the board. Another area this revamped offense could quietly improve is in the red zone. Denver's red zone rushing EPA last year ranked 19th, which forced them to pass in tight spaces. That's not a winning formula when defenses are playing tight man coverage. Dobbins is a legitimate